So let me tell you about the expensive mistake I made when I launched my first ever course. We're going back to 2015, and by that point I had been building websites for small business owners since 2003. I had two young boys. My husband was in the military and he was away for months at a time, sometimes more, and I was just trying to juggle it all, and honestly I was barely holding it together. And in 2015 I hit burnout. Proper burnout. I had no boundaries around my work. I was getting up at 4 a.m. to meet client deadlines. Then once the boys were in bed in the evenings, I was back at my laptop until one day I just couldn't. I had this excruciating and debilitating pain in my face. I couldn't speak, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't even drive because the pain was so extreme. I had friends had to pick up my boys from school for me. I couldn't even read them a bedtime story when they got home at night. And I had to change the way I was working, and I had to recover. And back then, online communities weren't what they are now. There was no Facebook groups full of supportive entrepreneurs. There were no Slack channels or co-working Zoom rooms. I didn't even know a single other entrepreneur or business owner. So I did something that felt really wild at the time, and I hired my first business coach. And the first part of the coaching program was an in-person event in Belfast. And even just stepping out of my day-to-day routine and going to Belfast for 3 days felt huge. And she said to me, you should build a course and teach people what you know about email marketing and about SEO. And I remember thinking, me? What, like, how? It felt so far from everything I'd done for the past 12 years in my business. But I trusted her, I followed her plan, I reached out to past clients, I asked them what would actually help them the most, and I built the offer around that. And here's the wild part, that I sold out my email marketing course before I had even created it. And I was just blown away. So I signed up to Thinkific because it was the only learning management platform that I knew at the time. I loaded up the content, I delivered the course, had amazing results from the people inside, and I loved it. And then life happened and I got busy again, but Thinkific kept charging me every single month. And every time that monthly payment left my account, I felt this little wave of anxiety and guilt because I wasn't bringing new people into the course. So the course platform wasn't paying for itself. So a few months later, I joined a course run by a guy called Danny Inney. You may have heard of him. And one of the bonuses was a free year of Teachable Pro. So I switched, and it felt like a massive win until the annual renewal rolled around. And by then I had a second course. It was all about SEO. But again, I ran the first round of the course and then I didn't promote it again. I was head down with one-to-one clients and I was juggling everything else, and course sales were trickling in, but it wasn't enough to justify the ongoing monthly fees. And that's when I realized I was throwing money at the wrong solution. So I played with WordPress LMS plugins, like learning management system plugins, and I looked at self-hosting the course, and in the end I landed on a platform called MemberVault, and I bought a lifetime license. And finally I could breathe. And of course, just as I sorted all that out, I actually started building what would become Rock That Website, which is my signature website creation course. The sales started to roll in, partly because the course was good, but mostly probably was because I'd finally sorted out my checkout process, because I'd started using a tool called ThriveCart. And at that time it was just a checkout tool, but it worked. Like, it really worked. And I was selling my course and I was selling my workshops. And it was a one-time payment, so I didn't have any recurring fees. Now, years later, they added on ThriveCart Learn, completely free, and suddenly selling and delivering courses was really simple. Didn't need extra platforms for that, and the tech was already easy, and there was no spiraling monthly fees. So if I had to start over again, I would skip any of the fancy platforms, the bloated subscriptions, the guilt-inducing monthly payments, and I would start with ThriveCart, because you can get started there with a really robust platform for selling and a really robust platform for delivering your courses. So that really brings us to the reason for today's video, which is a comparison of the 3 platforms that I'm most commonly asked about, which are ThriveCart, Kajabi, and SamCart. So which one is actually worth your money, which one might just quietly drain away your soul, and which one is going to deliver your course in a way that feels really good to you. So let's dive in, because you might be somewhere between Googling what is a funnel or just wondering how many courses you need to sell each month in order to justify the cost of hosting your content online. And if that's you, then this is going to help. So I'm going to break down what actually matters when it comes to choosing a sales platform for your online business, especially if you're a coach, a course creator, or if you run a service-based business. Now, just a spoiler alert, I am biased. I use ThriveCart, I love ThriveCart, I'm a reseller for ThriveCart, I'm a preferred supplier for ThriveCart, but I'm going to tell you why it's become such a big deal in my business. So we'll break it down into a few sections. The first one I want to look at is pricing. So this is the thing that obviously most of us are thinking about in terms of cash flow, is we want to know what price the platform is going to be before we actually sign up to it. So ThriveCart, for a one-off payment of $495, you can buy into their lifetime version of their standard version of the platform. Sorry, their lifetime license of the standard version of their platform. Or you can upgrade to their newly rolled out features, which is their Pro Plus version. And that gets you all the extras such as affiliate management, sales tax calculations, multiple order bumps, and more. But for a lot of us, when we're starting out, that standard license is going to be more than adequate. It gives us free access to the Learn platform, so we can set up our checkout pages and we can deliver our courses from it. So that's your lifetime license for $495. Kajabi starts at around about $55 a month if you pay annually, and then it climbs quite steeply. So you could pay up to like over $300 a month for all the bells and whistles. SamCart starts at about $79 a month, and it goes up to about just under $300 a month if you want things like A/B testing and on their higher scale plan. So if you're in this for the long haul, which I hope you are, ThriveCart pays for itself in a few months when you compare it to the other platforms. So some of those platforms, they get expensive quite quickly if you're wanting the extra features. So that's pricing. The next thing I want to look at is courses and content delivery. And if I'm really honest, this is where Kajabi shines. It's built for hosting courses. It has a beautiful course builder, easy to use pipelines, email, automation, the works. It's like the Swiss Army knife of platforms, but Swiss Army knives come with fiddly bits that you don't always use. So ThriveCart has ThriveCart Learn, which is simple, but it's solid, it does the job. If you're just starting out or you don't want to overcomplicate things, it's more than enough, and it's free to use inside your ThriveCart account. So you don't ever have to pay anything extra for it. You can upgrade to something called Learn Plus, which is an extra add-on if you want some extra functionality, like if you want to sell bundles, if you want advanced tagging on your courses, those kind of things. But a lot of my clients use the standard version of ThriveCart with the standard version of Learn, and it's perfectly adequate for them. SamCart's course builder it's fine, it's not amazing, it's not terrible, it's better known as a platform for its checkout process than its learning environment. So if your main goal is to deliver beautiful, engaging courses with loads of moving parts, then Kajabi might win out of those 3. But if you want to sell your course, and ThriveCart is probably your better bet in terms of the selling capability that comes with it. Which takes us on to the next section, which is the checkout section and the sales funnels, because this is where ThriveCart really shines. You get really easy to brand customizable one-page checkouts or complete sales pages. You have order bumps, and actually if you're on the Pro Plus version, you can have up to 6 order bumps now. You get upsells, downsells, you get coupons, you get auto expiring discounts, you get one-click purchases. There's so much that's included, and what all of that means is higher conversions. So that means that you can probably sell more of your courses through it. Now, SamCart is no slouch in that department either. It's known for good checkout flows. ThriveCart also has good analytics, affiliate tracking, tax options, and Kajabi's checkout pages, really, they are functional, but they're not as easy to customize. And I have lots of people that move over to change their tech stack to WordPress and ThriveCart to replace Kajabi. Some of that is sometimes the cost, but some of it is also the fact that they find the checkout pages really hard to customize. So if sales are your focus, and really they should be, Kajabi's not built to squeeze every drop from your funnel like ThriveCart is. And then the next thing we want to look at is email and marketing automation. And again, ThriveCart takes the lead again here. So you can do it all inside the Kajabi platform. So your email sequences, your pipelines, your tagging, your automations. So if you love everything in one place, it's a great option. With ThriveCart and with SamCart, you'll need to connect an email tool like Kit or MailerLite or ActiveCampaign. Now, for me, that's not a problem. I like using standalone tools which are experts and specialists in that particular area. So it's entirely up to you in terms of, do you want things in different places or do you want everything in one place? I've got a blog post about how I feel about all-in-one tools, and I can link to that in the notes below the video if you want to go and check that out. Really, it's a point of preference. So like I mentioned before, SamCart doesn't do email either, so that needs integrations too. So if you want an all-in-one and you don't mind paying the premium, Kajabi works. But if you prefer the flexibility and the freedom of choosing your tech stack your own way, ThriveCart gives you that freedom. And then the other thing I want to talk about is affiliate management. So this is hands down one of the most underrated parts of ThriveCart. You do need the Pro Plus system for this. It means you can set custom commissions, you can set up payment delays, promo tracking, the works. It's really a great addition to your marketing and your kind of ecosystem and the flow that you're setting up. So Kajabi's affiliate system is okay. It's only available on the higher tier plans, and that's the same with SamCart too. So if affiliates are part of your strategy, then ThriveCart definitely wins on value and features. So overall, really, if we're to summarize, if you want everything in one place and you don't mind paying monthly, Kajabi is a great bet. If you want a sleek checkout, a decent course platform, and you're okay with monthly fees, then SamCart can work for you. But if you want maximum conversion power, minimal cost, and a setup that you can grow with, then it's ThriveCart, in my opinion, all day long. So I started using ThriveCart when it wasn't a widely known about platform, and it's still one of the best investments I ever made in my business. It's powered some of my most successful promos and my evergreen funnels, and it saved me a small fortune on software. So if you're kind of weighing up ThriveCart, Kajabi, SamCart, then I hope this has given you an insight and maybe a little bit of clarity. There's no one size fits all answer. We have to go with what works for us. But if you're a coach, course creator, or if you're running a service-based business and you don't want to be chained to bloated monthly fees that give you the kind of anxiety that I used to have when I was setting up my first course, then especially if you're just barely keeping your course sales ticking over, I would definitely take a look at ThriveCart. And really, if you think about that mistake that I made with my first couple of courses, part of that mistake was creating it and then delivering it once and then letting it gather dust. That on its own stings. Really not my smartest business strategy. But what really hurt was the cost, was the paying every single month to keep something alive that I wasn't even promoting anymore. And that kind of mistake, it can't happen when you ditch the monthly fees for good. And that's why ThriveCart is just such a great option for so many people. It's why I will always be a big advocate of ThriveCart. So if you've got questions about ThriveCart, if you want a behind the scenes peek, or if you need help figuring out what setup would actually work best for you and your business, then drop them in the comments or reach out to me. If this was helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe for more real talk around websites and tech, and share this with a fellow course creator who might need it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.